Doing well. I wanted to get a little bit of content out to you today before I spend the rest of the day with my kid. Today he's got a half day, and whenever my kids have time off, I just wipe my schedule clean and spend the day with them. One of the ways that I'm able to do that, and the way that I want to sort of share with you an important strategy and tactic is I have built into my business enough profitable margin to take large amounts of time off. So I work with a lot of people, both in my freelancing career and my No Pants project, students, where the way that they price their services is actually destroying the lifestyle aspect of their business. So we think that in order to have a great lifestyle in a business, you need to somehow have, the pinnacle of productivity. You need to somehow be, the person who can get 900 things done in 2 minutes flat, and that's the only way that you can be happy and successful. Well, there's this concept that we teach inside of the No Pants Project core program, and for those of you who are interested in ever joining that program, just shoot us an email at help@thenopantsproject.com. We can get you set up in there. In that program, we show this cycle where price actually determines and dictates pretty much everything in your business. So price is the switch that determines how happy you are, determines how many hours you're going to work per week, determines what kind of clients you attract, determines all of those things. It doesn't just determine profit. Okay. So what I want to share with you here today is I want to show you something that I was doing last night for one of my businesses. And I want to illustrate, I want to demonstrate, I want to show you how powerful this concept of price adjustment can be to determine like what kind of a business you run. Because the crazy thing about running a business is that it is whatever you make it. Nobody can start a business and then complain, my business sucks, it's somebody else's fault. It's not. This isn't an employee situation where you plug yourself into somebody else's thing. And, it's easy for you if you're an employee to go to a company and say, wow, I really don't like this company. That's easy. When you're in that, it totally makes sense because you're just, kind of a cog in their machine. But when you create your own business, if you don't like it, it's because it's a business that you designed. And so I want to show you and give you some sort of power here to readjust and see where the knobs are in your business that can make the biggest adjustments in your favor for whatever it is that you want. Now, the first thing I want everyone to do is to go get this book. Let me see if I can see myself here. If you guys can see this book right here. Go see this book right here. It's called Profit First. It's by Mike, and I can never say his last name. Mike M. How about that? See if you guys can see it. Mike M. Profit First. Amazing book. He will teach you and show you how to structure on like an accounting level, how to deal with money so that your business, you're not worried about, am I going to be able to pay my bills? Am I going to be able to, et cetera, et cetera. But what I want to show you right now is pricing strategy. So this is a good book for dealing with your money. I want to talk about how to get that money in the best way to maximize even what Mike's saying in his book. So let's take a look at this spreadsheet. This spreadsheet is, I am planning in 2019 to launch some new products and adjust one of our product pricing models, because for the past year, the pricing model has made me a little crazy, right? So a lot, and I think that's important to understand here. I was selling something, it was making me a little crazy. So I'm not gonna take that thing and destroy it. I'm not going to take that thing and figure out what's a 57-step funnel that will somehow make me happy. I'm not going to take that thing and, completely revamp it and restructure it and start over. Those are all self-sabotaging techniques in business. And a lot of people use self-sabotage as a form of procrastination to avoid the thing that they fear. The answer to this thing that I've been selling that I really want to be a peaceful, calm, something that serves my people very, very well who purchase it, that get the maximum results and all these sorts of things. The knob that we turn, the mechanism, the lever that we pull in the business is the price of this thing. The price is what will determine how peaceful it is for me to do this thing, right? Okay, so what I was doing last night is I was running some very basic financial models, which for me is like an ugly looking spreadsheet like this. And those of you who are like super into spreadsheets, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, what is he doing? But a very, very basic spreadsheet. I have my base cost of every month. This is what it costs to run this particular product. So in this case, it's about $46,000. That's not including ad spend. That's not including anything else. So this is for one of my businesses. I'm not going to say which business it is, and I'm not going to say what the product is or anything like that. I'm not, I'll try to be transparent, but there's a limit to what I can be transparent. $46,000 to run this specific thing. Okay. And I have variable costs. The variable cost is basically how much it costs to sell the thing with ads. And then in this case, the model in which we sell this particular thing is that you have to get on a phone. So that means we have commission salespeople. And here's, it's about $750. It's about 15% commission per sale. Okay. So those are variable cost, base costs. Let's say that per sale, we get $3,250, and that's because we're charging $5,000. We'll work through this here in a second. And bear with me if you're not a numbers person. I promise once I get through all these numbers and I show you the power behind this, it's the only number that actually matters, and I'll show you what that is. Desired monthly profit, total revenue needed. Here's where we start to get into the important numbers. I want to know how many units of this thing do I need to sell per month to make my desired monthly profit on this particular piece of my business, not even in the whole business, just this one product, this one service, this one offering in my business. How much per month profit do I want to experience? So, as you can see, I've said that my desired monthly profit is this, and I've done my spreadsheet so that it helps me to figure out how many total units I need to sell based off of the profit that I'm anticipating between variable costs and then base cost. Okay, so don't worry about all of this. I just want to explain the numbers because I want to show you one very, very simple number. Okay, so then we got our ad spend and total ad spend per day and total. If you're thinking about going into business, my friends, do these numbers, run these numbers, and I'll show you specifically what I mean here. What I've done is I've ran the same model for 9 different sort of parameters. The first is, what if I only sell this thing for $3,200 and I want $10,000 profit? What if I only want to sell this thing for $4,000 and I want $10,000 of profit? What if I want to sell this thing for $5,000 and I only want $10,000 of profit? And then the same for what if I want $30,000 and I'm selling it for $32,000, $4,000, and $5,000? And what if I want $60,000 in profit? $32,000, $4,000, and $5,000. I want to show you some very, very important numbers on why raising your price will make you so happy. Okay, because I work with a lot of people, and even the people who, they're multimillionaires, they have these big businesses. You would think that they're kind of over the fear of raising their price. And I'm here to tell you, the people who are in the No Pants Project, a lot of them they're starting their business for the first time, and they have the same exact fears in both camps. Almost everyone I talk to is afraid of raising their price. They're afraid that if they raise their price, the clients are going to leave them. They're afraid that they aren't able to deliver at a higher price, that somehow higher price equals more work. And hopefully I'll be able to illustrate to you that actually higher price means less work here in a second. And which by less work meaning you're probably going to do a better job the higher price that you charge. Or they fear that, what happens if I take on this big project and they don't like it? Are they going to be exponentially more angry at me if they have a higher price? So there's a lot of fear around that. But I want to show you that fear is misplaced. That when people come to me and they say, Mike, I'm afraid of raising my prices. My response to them is, you should be afraid of not raising your prices. The thing that is way more dangerous to you is you not raising your prices, because when you don't raise your prices, you run a business that is headed for burnout. Think about this. They say less than half of businesses survive the first 5 years or whatever, 3 years, 1 year, whatever. If a business is surviving for more than 3 months, it's making sales. So if a business doesn't survive after 5 years, it's made sales that whole time. It's not just like not making sales. Therefore, the problem isn't making sales. The reason businesses fail is because they don't have the profit. They don't have the margin. They are incorrectly pricing their services, and it's creating a business that is not sustainable, whether it's financially, whether it's personally. People lead to burnout. So I want to show you here just an example that I was running through last night. And when I saw it, I was like, man, I got to share this. If I want $60,000 per month, and I'm able to sell this thing at $5,000 per month, I want you to see the number of calls that are required in order to sell 33 units. Okay. Now, what I mean by calls required to sell 33 units is we have to get on the phone with this many people, and assuming that we can close 1 in 10, which are not very good numbers, it's a very sort of conservative estimate, but assuming we can close 1 in 10, that will give us 33 total units at $5,000. Now, I want you to take a look at this number. 33 units is how many we need every single month. And the calls needed per week. Okay. How many times we have to pick up the phone, how many prospects we need to talk to is 54 prospects. Okay. If I want $60,000. Now, I want to show you something here. If I want $30,000 in profit, okay, so I want half as much profit, and I'm only charging $3,200 for this thing instead of $5,000, look how many calls I need to do per week. So let's compare that really quick. Let me sort of put these two together really closely so I don't make this crazy for everybody. So if I want to make $30,000 a month in profit, half the profit I was talking about before, and I can only charge $3,200, or I'm only willing to charge $3,200. That's really the answer. I'm only willing. I have to take 74 calls per week. I need to talk to 74 people. And I have to sell 44 units a month. If I can go from 3,000 to 5,000 for whatever it is that I'm charging, I can reduce my number of calls per week by 20, and I can reduce the need to sell by 10. Now let's compare this to if I just want $10,000 per month and I'm selling 3,200. This is the big one that I wanted to show you guys. It's almost the exact, I think it's gosh darn nearly the exact same if I want $60,000 a month in profit versus $10,000 a month in profit. $3,200 is what I'm charging versus $5,000 what I'm charging. Look at these important numbers. Same number of phone calls, same number of units needing to be sold. The point I'm trying to make here is that we have weird ideas about price because we can increase our profits not by going out and hustling more. See, the calls per week and the total number of units that I need to sell per month, those numbers represent hustle. The higher they are, the crazier my business is going to be, the more I'm going to have to hustle, the more I'm going to, my ad spend is going to have to go up and up and up. It's going to be so many different moving parts. I'm going to have to hire a bunch of people to maintain. The higher those numbers are, the more hustle there is. And I'm telling you from experience, the more you hustle, this is why I can't stand people who talk about hustle, 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 hustle. The more you hustle, the harder it is to maintain quality, period, full stop. The harder you hustle, the harder it is to maintain quality. So now what you have is this business that's crazy and going everywhere. And now you have these customers that start to get upset because you're dropping the ball. You're missing this over here. Little bugs start to crawl everywhere. The answer to this is not to shut everything down. It's not to kill your business. It's not to try new marketing methods, bright, shiny objects. The answer to this hecticness and this craziness and this stress is to raise your price. And how you raise your price, the process for raising your price has more to do with what's inside you, what's in your head, the beliefs you have around your product, more than nearly any other single contributing factor. What you charge has more to do with what's inside of your head than how you market your product, than even who your audience is, like all of this stuff. Yesterday, or maybe 2 days ago, we talked about changing the focus of what it is you offer. Yesterday specifically, we had that the question to success, right? Like, if you couldn't get paid, what would the qualifications be? And that's the kind of stuff that you need to work on in your head, is to get yourself to a point where what it is that you're offering, you can charge more for. So this is the real reason why you want to increase price. It's not about making money. I mean, it is, but it's not about like being greedy and how much money can I make? And it's not about I need to be dominant in my market. It's about building a business that doesn't burn you out. Look at this. Same exact level of work to make $60,000 in profit versus $10,000 in profit per month. Same exact amount of work. If I wanted to make half as much profit, I would nearly double, no, not double, like 25% increase in my work to make half as much profit if I lower my price. So these are important things to consider. For those of you who know that we have the Happy Writer program going right now, and if you want to be a blog post writer, and this applies to anybody, if you want to be a blog post writer, or maybe you don't really know exactly, what to do as a service, I recommend that you check out the Happy Writer program. I'm going to toss a link here with my little magics. See if I can do that here. Join the Happy Writer program and learn how to, out of the gates, charge more than you likely are charging right now for probably most of your services. We're talking about $200 to $400 per 2 to 4 hour project. Okay, $100 an hour. That's a good place to start this process of rethinking price, of reducing the stress in your business. And when you're able to reduce the stress, like we teach in the No Pants Project, in our core program, what we teach in there is the idea that higher prices allow for a more peaceful, less stressed, less distracted environment. And if you read books like Mastery by Robert Greene, or The Talent Code, or any of these books that talk about deliberate practice, which is to say actual focused on the task at hand, not a lot of distractions going on, what you'll find from that research is that the people who deliberately practice, meaning are focused on what they're doing, they're not running around and going over here and stressed about this and doing all these things, those individuals have an unfair advantage in being better at what they do. And that is one of the many pathways to justifying higher prices, is for you to build a business that allows you to focus, be calm, and be present, and be able to deliver a better product than anyone else. And that comes from your ability to create a peaceful business. The peace comes from your ability to raise your prices and to be able to have prices that are sustainable in what it is that you're doing. Okay, my good friends, that's it. So for those of you who are blog post writers or thinking about blog posts, or you want to add something that's high value to your business, could even be a base product, check out the nopantsproject.com/the-happy-writer. That program is for sale until February 1st, at which point it's not for sale any longer. If you have no interest in being a writer, but you still are like, gosh, I really need to figure out how to raise my prices, shoot us an email at help@thenopantsproject.com. We have several other programs that we might be able to place you in. So shoot us an email, help@thenopantsproject.com. We can sort of see if there's a fit for you there in terms of what programs we have at our in our sort of catalog to be able to help you to do exactly that. Raising your prices is a powerful tool. It's the 80-20. When you look at everything you have to do in business, the management and the finances and the marketing and the this and the that and the Price is that little knob that controls your lifestyle. It controls how happy you are when you run your business. So hopefully, my dear friends, this was helpful to you. I have an appointment with my son to spend the rest of the day being goofy and hilarious and having a good time. I think we're going to go do some science today, which I'm very, very excited about. There's some things here in Portland that are there's a mummy display thing, and there's some other things around town that we've been thinking about we're going to be going and doing. So we're going to spend the rest of the day doing that. I'm able to do that because of price. And that's not a line. I'm not trying to sell you anything with that. It's because I purposefully build in margins to allow me to have this kind of space. And that's where the space comes from. All right, my dear friends, I hope that this was helpful, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.